Hi everybody, this is Pam with Jesusjunkjournals, and today we are going to bind these signatures. So I've got my wax linen thread, and actually this was a kit from Amazon. It had an awl. It came with a couple of these folding bones, they're called. And this is like when you've got something and you have it fold in it, you take a folding bone and you run it across it and it makes it lay really flat. So that's what these are for. Came with needles, upholstery needles, and let's see, was that all? It didn't come with all of this thread though. I forget how many it came with. I've kind of gotten them intermixed with some other ones that I bought, but that's kind of the general. If you look for a bookbinding kit on Amazon, that's kind of what you can expect. I'm going to get a piece of foam just from an Amazon package, and I'm going to take you will see people in various videos make a lot bigger deal of this than I do. And I'm not saying I'm right or they're right or they're wrong, but I just don't make a big deal about it. And so far it's worked out for me. So I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to use this dark brown, I think, waxed linen thread. And I'm going to do about 2.5 times the length, or I'm sorry, the height of my signatures, and cut it, mash it with my thumbnail to make it flat, and it goes right into this upholstery needle. And pull just a little bit of a tail out. I'm going to talk about this as if you've never done it before, because if you have done it before, you probably aren't watching this. So what you want to do is get all of these centered. Now you can put different pieces of paper in here. Honestly, I usually do, and just to make the point, let me get a paper doily. So you can use any kind of papers, any kind of pages, any kind of junk that you've gotten, and add this in as if it is a page. So I'm just going to take this paper doily and fold it in half, and I'm going to add this to my signature just for fun. And I'll just put it, this is what I should have done. I had a couple of pages I didn't like where they were, how they looked together. I guess that's what I could have done with that. So I've got my doily in there. And then you want to take, well, you don't want to take your awl. I'm going to use a pair of scissors. You want to fold it almost shut, and then I just kind of poke them down gently. Make sure everything is at the bottom, together at the bottom, because that is where you're going to stitch them together. And what I do is I just eyeball it. I look for the center. And I just put my awl in, and then I come to each end and I go, I don't know, like an inch in, doesn't really matter. And this other end, similar. So I have 3 holes. And then you want to decide where you want your knot to be, where you're going to tie it off. And if you want it in the back where it doesn't show, you start here. But if you want to have it on the inside, you can leave the tails inside and tie a little bow, or you can glue charms to the thread that's left. So it's up to you. I'm going to go from the back, and you can see it coming up from the inside there. And then I'm just going to pull it to about, I don't know, like that much in the back. I'm going to run my needle through the top hole. Now this is the only tricky part. You're making a figure 8 basically. So you're going in, you're coming out, then you're going to go back through that hole, come up here, and make a figure 8 and tie it. Very simple. So the only hard thing is you don't want to snag this thread, or you'll have to probably start over. So I'm going to pull it down with my fingers and try to poke it through the very top of that hole so it doesn't interfere with it. And most times it's very simple and easy and doesn't give me any trouble. So we'll see if it does this time. Okay, I think I got it right. So then I'm going to put it through this top hole and pull my needle off. And so here are my two ends that I'm going to tie. Now before you tie them, be sure you pull these as tight as you can. Check the inside, make sure there's no slack. And then you're going to tie them right in the middle. So pull the thread so that it ties right in the middle where you want it, and then tie it in a knot. And I have to tie it like 3 times because I don't know what I do wrong, but when I tie it twice, it seems like it has come loose before. So I do it 3 times. And then for me, I can just cut these off because I don't want them to show, and they'll disappear by the time I get this into a journal. So there's one bound. And so I'm feeling like I want to add a couple more pages. So let me look what I have here. Okay, so just for fun, I have a French dictionary, and I'm going to use that page and just fold it in half and just stick that in there, just to make the point that you can put in whatever you want. It doesn't have to be the same size. And let me see if seemed like this was the one I didn't like. Yeah, this is the one I didn't like. I'm going to put the brown paper here, I think. Now the brown paper is quite a bit bigger, so I think I am going to tear that. So I've got this tearing ruler, and there's instructions on the internet on how to make your own tearing ruler if you don't want to buy one, because these things are expensive for some reason. So I'm going to tear about that much off. And then fold it in half, and you let that be one of my pages in here. And I'll put that there, and that solves that problem. So that doesn't have this crazy page across from it. Okay. And the brown paper is a little bit bigger, but I'm not going to worry about that because I plan on gluing all kinds of stuff on the edges anyway, so it's going to stick out. So now I'm going to get these all lined up like I want them, and I'm going to take my scissors, poke them down really well in the center, make sure nothing's sticking up. I'm eyeballing the center. Now some people like to have their signatures line up and all the threads are in the exact same location, so if you want to do that, you need to be a little bit more careful than I'm being. Whoop. And there's number 2. All right, and then the last one. And this one, let's see, I was going to put this in just for fun, just to make the point, and I'll put it here just to kind of give a little space between that crazy thing there. Yeah, so I'm just going to put that in there. And I think what I'll do is maybe pull it to the top. That way I will have 2 holes when I stitch it holding this in. So it'll be a little more stable. Now I'm still going to stitch it together again later, and that'll make it more stable too. So either way, it's going to be fine. Okay, so I've got, oh, again, I always forget to thread my needle. Just for fun, just to make sure. Okay, so we've got those 3 signatures, and then I think I'm going to create the fourth signature, and it's going to be just journaling paper because I don't really have any journaling space here. And I think, to be fair, since it's a journal, you got to have it somewhere. So I am going to get out some paper for that and put this away. So I'll be right back. Okay, I've got several different kinds of paper here that I can make journal pages out of. And so everything from, this is just really, really nice copy paper that I've tea stained really lightly with a stencil so that you could still write over it. And so I want this to be about the same size as these pages. So I'm going to have to either cut them or rip them. And so I think I'm going to rip them. So let me get, where's my tearing ruler? Everything's getting all stacked up here. So it looks like I'm going to need to do something like that and that. And so let me mark a couple more of them. So it gives me 2 of those pages, and then if I use this, oh, this is out of an actual journal that I took apart, and it's a little bit big, but I think it will be okay. It's going to stick up, it's going to stick out, but like I said, I don't worry too much about that. And then here's a piece of like notebook paper. I mean, I like grunge and mess and things like that, so I probably would be okay if I left this, but I'm going to go ahead and tear that strip off there. Not quite so crazy. And then here's a piece that I tea stained and even decoupaged some of that Tim Holtz tissue paper on. And I don't know what else I did to that, but that will work because you can still journal on this side. So, oh, and here's a piece of graph paper. And that looks like it'll work. And that looks like it'll work. So, okay. So I'm going to fold this in half. And I think I'll let that be in the middle. I want to do that. Yeah. And so that's 1, 2. 3, 4. Oh, I should probably put it on right side up. 4, and then 5, 6 if I tear these. So that's 6 pages in that signature. So I'll put these away, and I'll tear these. Wonder if I can get away. No, better not. I was going to wonder if I could get away with tearing it folded in half, but I better not try that. Okay. So this one gives you a little bit rougher edge, but it's a little harder to tear. So I'm going to use this easier one. All right, let's see if I can sort of eyeball it. That's how it's supposed to tear. That last one I did was a little tougher. Okay, just a little bit off of this one. Okay, there's that page. And I'm making those right side up just because that has writing on it and a scripture. And then I'm going to put that somewhere. I'll put that in here next to this really grungy one, like so. Okay, so now I'm going to take my scissors and make sure all those pages are pushed down. And, oh, again, where's my clip? Gotta thread my needle. Did I put my needle away? I think I did. I don't know what I was. So there's my journaling signature. So now I can start to work on my add-on kit, because now I can glue pockets and things in, and it's just a little easier to handle. And then after I get all that done, then we'll bind it into a journal with a cover and all of that. So, okay. All right, well, I'm going to stop there and come back. I think what I'm going to do is start on the add-on kit on the next one. So anyway, I better stop here. I thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.